Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Today's video, I at first was thinking like, well, this is a beginner video, but the more I think about it, I think probably a lot of people could take something out of this because, you know, no matter how long we've been doing this path and our struggle, if you've been doing this for a good while, your struggles may not be as severe or as strong as somebody that's new to this, but we all tend to have cravings, we all tend to struggle, we all tend to want to eat something that we probably really shouldn't eat from time to time. And a lot of times it can be our habits that lead to these binges or lead to eating or any kind of behavior that we don't want to have or to do. So what I was thinking about today is like, okay, you know, I've done some beginner videos before, which is like, and I strongly advise people to start the day out strong. That's one, just build on that. Always have that one in the back of your mind. Start the day out strong. Drink a good liter of water first thing, and just start getting some food in your stomach, some quality, you know, food in your stomach. And get, you know, I used to be so bad about that. I was kind of I wasn't a total breakfast skipper, but I was like, you know, don't eat and then just load up at lunch. So don't ever let yourself get hungry, or don't let yourself get too hungry. Now, starting off early in the day, that will prevent a lot of things, but there's still going to be lulls, and there's probably, I don't know if it's so much it's the physical body tends to crave during that time of day, or if that's more of a psychological thing, or a little bit of both. I think two of the most troubling times for people, and this is whether people are doing our lifestyle or just, I mean, if you can probably even relate even when you've done diets in the past. And the first time I think is a trouble spot is mid-afternoon, anywhere from a couple of hours after lunch to maybe whatever the end of your workday is or until dinner. There's that big old zone in the middle, you know, between lunch, or depending. Like I say, I'm more of a grazer, which, you know, I have issues on that too, whether I'd like to get away from grazing all the time for other reasons. But, you know, if you're eating meals, and sometimes if you've eaten at lunch and you don't have something in the afternoon, it's going to start eating away at you. So if you find that the afternoon, mid-afternoon, early afternoon is a trouble spot for you, head it off. Whether you're at work, whether you're at home, know yourself. Listen, you got to be a little introspective and come to know your thoughts, your habits, your patterns. And if you know that you're prone to getting hungry and maybe getting weak mid-afternoon, take care of it ahead of time. Take care of it by, you know, like having yourself a good healthy snack, whether it just be a few bananas or some other type of fruit. Another good time. You know what I always say, you know, sometimes you're not really sick or you're not really low energy, you're just thirsty. Or a lot of times you're not hungry, you're thirsty. So drink a liter of water. A liter of water middle of the afternoon is a good way to wake you up, freshen you up, get you on through that next period, but also it can possibly head off some fake hunger where you think you're hungry or maybe you're just bored but you would have eaten anyway. So, you know, try to slug down another liter of water a couple or 3 hours after lunch. Have something around of it. Those first hunger pangs, get some good food in your mouth so that time to, you know, the longer you let hunger fester, the more chance it is that you're going to eat something that's not optimal for you. Now the second, you know, middle of the afternoon, now I don't have this one at all because now I fill up, I eat my huge salad at night, and then very seldom I'll want something afterwards. But nighttime can be a trouble spot. And I think that's just, you know, that can be the association what a lot of people have done. You know, in the evening you have dinner and then you let that settle for a little while and then you just veg out on the couch and people eat junk while they're watching movies or whatever they're doing. Or for whatever reasons, nighttime after dinner, people seem to struggle a little bit. One I would advise on this, make sure you eat enough dinner. Don't eat some little rabbit dinner, you know. And remember, when we're eating salads, there's not a lot of, it's not very dense. There's not a lot of calories in there. You've got to eat a lot. You've got to eat a lot. That's why I've kind of enjoyed this, like doing that dressing I did in a video a couple of days ago, that just the mango, red pepper, and jalapeno, because I'm guessing more or less that I probably have about, I don't know, 400 or 500 calories worth of mango in there. So I am getting some calories at night. When I used to do other things before, when I wasn't using fat, you know, maybe my dressing had, my salads probably had very, very few calories. So you've got to make sure you're filling up at dinner, but don't be afraid, especially in the beginning. Some people advise never eat, you know, never eat fruit afterward, after dinner or at night after you've eaten, you know, your savory, but do what you got to do, you know, in the beginning. It's always better to, you know, I would definitely say let enough time pass for you know, dinner to have kind of settled a little bit. But if it's 2 or 3 hours after dinner and you are starting to crave something really bad and you think you might fall and have something really bad, eat a few bananas, eat a few pieces of fruit, or even so, keep yourself, you know, have a little more salad than you really need, and then if you want to keep on and not eat any more fruit before you go to bed, you know, to jack up your energy. I don't really, the fruit doesn't really get me all wired up, you know, if I eat it at night. But those 2 times right there, I would say are 2 very big trouble spots for people in general. Middle of the afternoon, after dinner in the evening. Now, all these things is you can use kind of the process that I'm using here, like all along the way. I try to identify trouble spots, and I try to just throw out a few practical tips that might help you deal with them. Now, what I might suggest to you might not be your situation, or it might just lead to a train of thought that makes you think on how to do things and make things work for you. That's what it's really about. But you have to put the time in. You have to actually think about it a little bit. If don't just sit and, you know, like every time you have a problem or every time you haven't been able to be successful in this lifestyle, just throw it up to chance and just wait for it to happen. Wait for it to magically sink in one day. You work on little tricks. You work on getting better at doing what you want to do. So you just, I mean, quite simply, anything, you do it in your way. I mean, like I say, I throw some tips out here, but I'm not saying this is the way you do it. But anticipate things. Anticipate, and also rely on the past. You know, if you know that you constantly have any kind of trouble with anything right here, well, then you figure out a hack for it. Is that right? Am I using those kids' terminology right now? No, but you see what I'm saying. You figure out, like, if you know you have a certain type of problem, it may be just you that has it, so nobody else can tell you how to figure it out. Try to figure out how to head it off. Don't let it happen, but some way that you can prevent that from happening. Prevention is so much better than cure. And, you know, we talk about it with the food, and putting a little time actually into sitting down and thinking, what are your problems, what are your trouble spots, what causes you to get weak, you know, weak as far as like not being able to stick to what you want to do, and figure out some solutions of your own. Figure out what works for you, but think of it ahead of time. Don't just constantly be waiting, you know, don't constantly be having the bad episodes, eating a bunch of stuff you don't want, or doing whatever that doesn't serve you, and thinking you don't have control. You have control. You just have to think a little bit and work out things that work for you to stay on the path whatever path you've chosen. Anyhow, hope you guys like this video. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Hope you'll subscribe to the channel, and hope you're having a good week. And hopefully we will see Miss Tanny Raw back here on YouTube soon. Hope she gets that worked out soon. If you're watching, Tanny, love you. Peace.